Hey everybody, so welcome back to another episode of the Brave Purpose Podcast. I am your host, Anisa L. Wesley, Anisa the Friend. I am the host of this podcast. This was birthed through my beloved book, Please Excuse My Brave, Overcoming Fear and Living Out Your Purpose. And this book is about overcoming fears, overcoming obstacles, overcoming limiting beliefs, overcoming you, overcoming your own inner critic so that you can fulfill the purpose that God has for your life. How amazing is that? And who doesn't want that? And this podcast is a continuation of my book. So topics that I talk about in here, I expound on them. There are some topics that I talk about on the podcast are not even in the book. So welcome to this brave space, to this safe space where we can talk about these things and really get to the bottom of some of these limiting beliefs. So buckle up your seatbelts and get ready for another amazing episode. This one is just a continuation of what we talked about last week. Last week we talked about imposter syndrome, and we talked about how imposter syndrome comes from, I just kicked the camera. Y'all, I am not a professional at this. Imposter syndrome is something that someone who's actually qualified sometimes feels when they go into the space, or they're about to go into a space, or they don't even go into the space because they feel like an imposter. They feel like they're going to be found out. There's this constant fear of being found out. And that's why I know that imposter syndrome is rooted in fear. And you can go watch the other episode, the first episode of this season to get a little deeper into that one. But right after I finished recording that and I watched the episode over, I immediately thought about how sometimes imposter syndrome makes someone play a role. And what I mean by that is that they're not able to be their authentic self, because if we found out that this is who they actually are, then maybe we wouldn't love them as much. And so I think that getting down to the essence of you, getting down to who you are as a person, what do you like? Like, ask yourself these questions. What is your personality actually like? Are you saying yes to this person because you want to people please, or because you feel like you're inadequate and so you're trying to overcompensate by taking on extra roles and extra responsibilities in, these jobs? So we really have to focus on, okay, what is the reason? I'm really a root kind of person. As you can see, my roots are grown out in my hair, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting down to the root of issues so that you can uproot them and heal from them. A lot of times, and I heard this analogy years ago, I don't know where I heard it from, but it was talking about how, I don't like how the mic is doing it, but it was talking about how we a lot of times use medicine when you have a cold, right? When you have the flu, when you have a cold, you go get Theraflu or NyQuil or whatever. Shout out to NyQuil. But you use it to stop whatever symptoms or to pause the symptoms of the cold. The more that you pause these symptoms, sometimes the longer the cold can go on, because you're not allowing your body to flush out the actual cold. It still has to go through the process. And maybe you're a nurse or a doctor and you can probably explain that way better than I can, but it still has to run its course, right? Like, there's no really cure for the common cold, but You can take NyQuil to help ease your symptoms, right? Because it's still gonna go on for a week or two or however long it goes on, maybe even a few days for some people who have really good immune systems. But the point is, you're using something to address the symptom and not address the root. So we have to get to the root of the issue and in order to heal. And so I think a lot of the issue with imposter syndrome is that growing up, maybe you felt like you did not fit in. Maybe you felt like you had to please other people. A fear of abandonment is a really big one. A fear of rejection is a really big one, where a lot of times when you're having those feelings or you've had those experiences, now you are trying to overcompensate in these areas and you're not feeling like you can truly be yourself. In fact, you might have even lost track of who you even are anymore. And so I think a lot of us need to go on like a consecration, on a fast, on a cleanse or something, and really cleanse out those things that are cluttering our own self, who God made us to be. Like, God made you like you are for a purpose and for a reason, but He won't bless the version of yourself that you pretend to be. That's a quote that I read somewhere. He will not bless the version that you pretend to be. He will not. And imagine, how hard is it to continually pretend to be something that you're not? That's a lot of energy for no reason. So I want to just address this and let you know that you have to maybe turn off everything and get to the root of what is going on. Maybe you need to talk to a Christian counselor. Maybe you need to talk to a pastor or someone you trust, a friend, to help you to get through some of the things that maybe are causing you to not be your authentic self, and to, end result, have some imposter syndrome. So I'm gonna leave in the description box or in the podcast notes, I'll leave a journaling prompt that might spark some things and help you process. But I strongly recommend going to see a counselor and getting deeper with that if this is something that you're truly struggling with. So thank you for joining me today on this episode of Brave Purpose. And remember that you have everything that you need. You have all that it takes to live your life bravely. See you next time.